Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Issei becomes a master of White and Red Dragon Emperor Part 2. Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like this video and also share this video with your friends. I have created my other videos playlist, there you can watch my all videos easily, check out as well. Let's start this video. Issei woke up from his bed. He noticed that Drake and Albion, who usually created a ruckus in his head, were dead silent. He knew that both of them were also having a hard time taking in what happened yesterday. He went downstairs to his dining table, sat down and started to eat while being in deep thought. His parents were incredibly worried, but they knew that Issei needed some alone time right now. Issei finished his food and headed out to school. As he was going to school, he, as always, smiled and waved at everyone. But everyone knew that Issei wasn't himself. He reached school, smiling and waving at everyone, but again, people could feel that there was something off about him. He went to his class and sat down at the corner. As Issei made many friends, all of them tried to talk to him about why he was feeling down, but Issei just claimed that he wasn't in the best shape. Class started and the teacher started the roll call. Issei almost missed his turn. Thanks to Kadis and Murayama, he barely avoided missing his turn. He was absent-minded for the rest of the day. Of course, he could answer all the questions that the teacher asked him, but he was just looking outside the window. The break. Issei, you know that if something is wrong, you can tell us, right? Murayama asked. Kadis nodded along with her. I know. I'm just not in the best shape right now. I just want some alone time. I promise I will tell you guys everything. He hugged both of them as he said the last line and then went off to the orc room. He, again, conveniently failed to notice that both the girls were basically tomatoes at this point. Scene change. Issei knocked on the door of the orc room. He was answered by Kiba. Issei-kun, please come in, we have been waiting for you. Kiba said as he ushered Issei in. Thank you very much, Issei nodded at Kiba. I can see why girls like you. Issei commented, which made Kiba smile awkwardly and rubbed his hand on the back of his neck. As Issei went in, his eyes immediately lit up as he saw a perfectly healthy Asia talking to Riaz. Asia was faced back towards Issei and Riaz was faced forwards. As she looked at Issei, she smiled with a slight blush, which caused Asia to look back and a giant smile formed on her face. Both of them ran towards each other and hugged the other tightly. Asia, I'm so glad you are okay. Issei said while hugging Asia. Thanks to you, Issei-san, I was able to live. Said Asia. All I did was fail you, it was Riaz-senpai who brought you back, Issei said dejectedly. That is not true, said Asia. Who knows what Father Fried would have done to me. If I hadn't met you, I probably would have been gone for good. Said Asia. I will always protect you from now on. And for bringing you back. He turned towards Riaz and went close to her, I am forever grateful to you. He bowed to Riaz and immediately hugged her tightly. Thank you so much for bringing her back, even though you knew she was an ex-maiden. Said Issei. It was nothing. Really. Ria's face went redder than her hair. She felt safe and comfortable in Issei's arms, something people only feel when they fall in love. Issei let go of Riaz and stepped back a little. I have one more thing I want to ask of you. Issei started. Riaz got herself back together and motioned Issei to continue. I promised Asia that I would always protect her, and now that she is in your peerage, I won't be able to be with her as much. And also I want to repay you for saving Asia. So, please make it a part of your peerage. Said Issei. Everyone was silent. But Issei, you are a dragon, will you really throw away your pride to be a part of my peerage? Asked Riaz. It is true that I am a dragon, but I'm only half dragon, so I don't have the pride of a full dragon to begin with. Said Issei. Okay, Riaz started as she brought out every piece she had vacant at that time. But, not even 8 pawn pieces were enough to transform Issei. You are too strong for me to reincarnate. I half expected this to happen as, if last night's incident was any indicator, you are much stronger than I am, much stronger. Said Riaz, looking down. I have one more trick, but it might only be barely enough. Started Issei. Riaz was confused and tilted her head, to which Issei felt slightly aroused. Oh man, why does she have to be so beautiful? Issei was still a teenager after all. Issei quickly shook his head to remove those thoughts from his head. After all my training, I basically broke most of my seals. However, I can re-implant some of those seals and make myself weak enough for you to reincarnate. However, I'm not able to re-implant all the seals, only a few. Said Issei. Issei put his hand on top of his head. A small white light came out of his hands. Riaz tried with all the pieces, but couldn't. Finally, with all 8 pawn pieces, Riaz was barely able to reincarnate Issei as a devil. It took the juice out of her. Issei was glowing with a crimson red light for a few seconds. After the light ended, Issei was again on the ground. Usually after transformations, the person who has been transformed passes out for a few hours, but in this case, it seemed like Issei was fine, and Riaz was the one who was about to pass out. As Issei opened his eyes, he went and hugged Riaz, which again made her go red. "Thank you so much," Issei said. No problem. Riaz was incredibly tired and couldn't form a sentence properly, but it seemed like Issei's hug did make her feel slightly better. She was being stared at by Akeno and Asia, but at this point, she couldn't care less. After breaking away from the hug, Riaz passed out and fell on the couch. "Eh?" Issei said. "Ra, it seems like the transformation took everything out of her. Even after you put your seals on, Riaz was barely able to reincarnate you. You are a strong man, Issei Kun. Said Akeno with a seductive voice. She also bent over a bit so Issei could see her breasts bouncing. Issei went really red. He tried controlling his inner teenager, but after being hit like that, it won't be very surprising if Issei joins those two perverts in their usual peeking activities. Issei-kun. Why are you blushing so much?" Asia shouted. Issei couldn't say much. "Pervert," said Kaneko. "Now, Akeno, you shouldn't tease Issei like that," said Kiba with an awkward smile. Ra, it seems like Issei-kun is aroused. This might be a good time for me, seeing as Riaz isn't awake. I can't. She started. "What?" said Riaz in a leader-like voice. She apparently woke up from the commotion that followed, and now it seems like she is perfectly fine. "It seems like Riaz will also fight for Issei-kun's love now, won't you?" Akeno teased Riaz. Ria's face went so red, you couldn't tell the difference between her face and an actual tomato. Don't stop pp'd, he is part of my peerage, so I would want everyone to treat him well," said an extremely flustered Riaz. "That's not fair. I also want Issei sends love," said Asia, now participating in the fight. Issei slowly backed out of the fight zone and went close to Kaneko and Kiba. "Welcome, Issei, to this world of madness," said Kiba while patting Issei on the back. "I see what you have to go through now," said Issei. Kiba nodded back. Issei saw that Kaneko was eating a chocolate which was really tasty, but not that easy to come by. "Oh, Kaneko-chan, you like chocolate?" asked Issei. "Yes," said Kaneko without even glancing at him. "Well then, I think I might have found it, here you go. I have another packet at home." Issei was searching inside his bag for something, and it was a packet of chocolate. Kaneko's eyes widened. It was a pack of chocolate which was really rare, and Kaneko had not been able to find it in any store. She even went outside Kuo to find this packet, but to no avail. Her face lit up, she took the chocolate and looked up to Issei to thank him, but immediately looked away with a blush after seeing his warm smile. Thank you," Kaneko said while still blushing. "Ara, it seems like you even won the heart of Kaneko-chan. I have to give it to you, Issei, you are quite the charmer," said Kiba while patting Issei on the back. Kaneko was even more red after hearing this, and Issei was just confused. He later said goodbye to the orc, most of which were still fighting, and went back to his classroom for his classes. The rest of the day went normally. Scene change. Issei was walking on the road back to his home. "It looks like those classes with Pinemu helped you to be the perfect charmer, eh?" Nah. Maybe. "Don't deny it, partner, fallen angels are extremely good at charming. And your tutor was one of the strongest fallen angels, meaning that her charming skills were equally as strong. That was part of the reason why you has a liking for all of your tutors." "Haha, very funny. You guys finally talk after so long and all you do is decide to tease me. Hey, don't blame us, it's you who got yourself into such a position." "Exactly. Can't say it wasn't exciting though, seeing the girls fight over you was better than any movie." "Exactly. Yeah, tease me however much you want." But this, Issei cut his link with both the dragons. As he was going over the bridge where he usually saw Yuma, he was surprised to see that she was not there. He shrugged it off saying she is probably preparing for her date tomorrow. Issei then went back home. Nothing really interesting happened for the rest of the day, but he knew that tomorrow will be really interesting. Time skip, next day. Issei and Yuma's date was at 8 AM and they were supposed to meet at the sidewalk near the entrance of a market complex. It was currently 7:55 and Issei was waiting until he heard a familiar voice. "Issei." It was Yuma, she was walking towards Issei with a smile. "Hope I didn't make you wait too long." "No, it's absolutely fine. Let's go on our date, shall we?" He extended his elbow like a gentleman. Yuma had a genuine blush on her and took Issei's arm as they walked into the market. They both went into the cloth store and tried out many different clothes. Yuma tried out one of those really expensive dresses for fun. "You look so beautiful in that dress." Issei was in awe. The dress Yuma wore made her look extremely beautiful. Yuma only formed a massive blush on her face. This blush was completely genuine, and Issei was happy that Yuma finally took a slight liking towards Issei. His goal to make her his girlfriend was still on his mind. Let's get this dress, that should make the total he was counting when he heard Yuma shout. Are you crazy, look how expensive this dress is. She was genuinely worried about Issei spending this much money on her. Issei just shrugged it off and got the dress in the cart along with the other dresses he got. Yuma tried to reason with him, but he smiled and said, this is nothing compared to what you deserve. Issei turned around to pay for the dresses while Yuma was in deep thought. My goal is to kill him, as Kakebio told me to do that. But he is genuinely such a nice guy, I don't think I have it in me to do it, why must I do it anyways? My orders from the Grigori were to just look after him, but… Earth to Yuma, do you copy? Yuma was brought out of her thoughts as she saw Issei waving his hand in front of her face. As he saw that he got her attention, he playfully pouted. You were thinking of some other guy, weren't you? Issei turned his face around with a HMPH, which made Yuma worried. No. I would never. We are on a date. I would never think about other guys. Please believe me, Yuma was panicking until she felt a pair of arms around her waist. Don't worry, Yuma, I was just teasing you, I know you won't betray me. Issei said with a comforting voice. Yuma was on the brink of completely breaking down. On one hand, she was happy that Issei trusted her, but on the other hand, she knew that her goal was to kill Issei, which she couldn't. Issei was a guy that gave her more love in these few minutes than she had ever got from anyone. Yuma managed to keep herself from crying and hugged Issei back. Come on, let's go eat. Issei said. The rest of the date included them eating, buying some stuffed animals, and just going into stores which they found interesting. It was all paid by Issei, much to Yuma's anger. The stuff they bought was kind of expensive and she didn't want Issei to pay for all of it. But before she could even say anything, Issei had already paid for it. At the end of the date, they went to the fountain in the park. Hey Yuma? Asked Issei. Yes, Issei, replied Yuma. Happy birthday, Issei said with a smile. Yuma was shocked. Her eyes went wide and her face was red. How did Yuma started? I kind of figured that the date you would pick wouldn't be some random date, and in that one shop where we ate ice cream, I saw that you whispered something into the waiter's ear. You thought that I wasn't paying attention, but I was. Later at the counter, I saw that the price was around 40% less than what I expected, then I remembered the sign outside the store was 40% on birthdays, so that's how you found out, said Issei. Yuma was looking at Issei in awe. She had never met a person as attentive as Issei. Thank you very much, Yuma said in a soft voice as she rested her head on Issei's arm. I also got you a birthday gift. While you were lost in the world of stuffed animals, I quickly went to the jewelry shop nearby. He said. Yuma tilted her head, which made Issei go red a bit. He quickly composed himself and brought a box out of a shopping bag. I hope you like it, Issei said before he opened the box. Yuma could only gasp at the sight. It was a beautiful silver chain necklace. The chain was twisted in a beautiful curved design. And at the middle was a beautiful violet amethyst. It goes well with your eyes, Issei said with a warm smile. Yuma was at a loss for words. She couldn't hold herself. Tears started forming in her eyes and her lips formed a soft smile. Issei put the necklace on her neck. You look breathtaking, he said. Yuma was already as red as a tomato. She hugged Issei tightly. Thank you, Issei, she whispered. After she broke away from the hug, Issei also gave her the box, which in itself was really beautiful. She took the box, but then caught a glance at the price. She quickly rubbed her eyes and looked at the price again. Her eyes went really wide and she looked at Issei with her wide eyes. Issei, I don't deserve such a beautiful gift, she said while looking down in tears again. You're right, Issei said as he walked closer to Yuma. You deserve so much more. Yuma's heart completely melted. Before her was the love of her life, who was initially a target. I have one last gift for you, it may not be the best, but it's all I can give, Issei said. You already have given me enough, I can't MPNH. Yuma started, but was cut off by Issei. Issei put his lips on Yuma. Yuma was shocked at first, but after a few seconds, she went into the kiss. She held Issei's neck to deepen the kiss, and Issei held Yuma's waist. Issei put his tongue forward, going into Yuma's mouth. She moaned as she felt Issei's warm tongue inside her mouth. She also put her tongue forward. After about a minute of clashing their tongues, the couple finally break the kiss for some air. Issei and Yuma looked at each other lovingly. I told you, my goal was to be your boyfriend by the end of the date. So, do you accept me as your boyfriend? Asked Issei. Yuma only blushed and looked down. Do I have to answer that? She said. She made up her mind that she will be with Issei from the time that he bought her that dress. She couldn't bring herself to kill him. She loved him. Well, Yuma, thank you for giving me the best last day of my life, Issei said with a smile. Yuma looked up in horror. Issei? What do you mean? You have to complete your mission, right? I'm guessing your goal is to kill me. What kind of a boyfriend would I be if I didn't help my girlfriend achieve her goals? Issei gave Yuma a warm smile. Go ahead, achieve your goal. He said as he opened his arms wide, embracing his death. Are you crazy? I could never kill you. I love you, Issei. I will always love you. She said. Issei was satisfied that he not only had a beautiful girlfriend, but also managed to change her personality. He broke the control spell which was put on Yuma and 2 others. And he was satisfied. Boosh squelch. The light spear impaled Issei's chest. Issei fell down lifelessly on the ground. Yuma looked in horror as his body fell down on the ground. You are a disappointment, Rainer. You failed to execute Kakabiel's orders. Not only you, but both of you as well. A figure with a black hat said these lines. Kaloriner, Middled, you 2 also have been charmed by this guy. You 3 are disappointments. The figure pointed to 2 other fallen angels which had their heads down. Those 3 have apparently been watching the events that followed. And the fallen angels named Kaloriner and Middled also have been rid of the control spell. He practically let you kill him, but you didn't take the chance, so I had to do it for you. As I said, disappointment. He stopped as he felt the aura coming out of Yuma. You? Will. Pei said Yuma in a demonic voice. You took the only guy who gave me true love and killed him. Fuck. You. Donaseek. Yuma formed a massive light spear, much stronger than she could have ever formed, and threw it at Donaseek. Donaseek was just barely able to move out in time. Oh, so this is what your power is. Such a shame, it will be fine to waste before I kill Yo. He was stopped mid-dialogue as Yuma dashed at him with unfathomable speeds and impaled him with another light spear. Cough, you think cough that this will stop me? I may cough die.but my regeneration cough will allow me to live long enough to cough aware Kakabiel of the events that transpired. Donaseek said while coughing up blood. As he was flying away, a sphere of massive energy was thrown at him, which decimated him. Yuma looked back to see where the sphere came from, and her eyes widened. Issei. I forgot to remove the seals I put on myself, that's why I was out for a few minutes. That light spear would have done nothing. Issei said. His body was fixed, and the light spear that impaled him was gone. Yuma rushed towards Issei and hugged him tightly. I'm so sorry, Issei, I should have warned you, I was controlled by Kakabiel and I am MPH. She was cut off by Issei, who kissed her on her lips. I knew you would never want to kill an innocent, you were being controlled. My plan was to break the control spell put on you and the other 2. He pointed at Kaloriner and Middled, who just blushed and looked away. You could sense us, said Kaloriner. I have seen you 2 in other places as well. I could feel that there was a control spell put on both of you. Unfortunately for the other guy, there was no spell. He was not controlled, so he was working with your boss, Kakabiel, by his own wish. He said. I promise that you 3 will live comfortably and no one will even think of hurting you 3, especially you Rainer, he said with a smile. Rainer blushed and looked away. I don't know why, but you calling me by my own name is making me feel things. As she said that, all of them started blushing. Anyways, come on you 3, I'll take you to my home. I'll explain everything to my parents. He motioned the 2 to come closer and proceeded to hug them as well. His training with Penemu really paid off. As the group broke the hug, Kaloriner and Middle blushed intensively. Ra, Issei, you would make a fine fallen angel. Rainer laughed. Well, I was taught by the best. Said Issei. Rainer only looked at him with a confused face. Issei didn't notice Rainer looking at him. Just as they were about to leave, they saw a magic circle open up near them. The 3 Fullen got into their fighting stance while Issei was smiling. Out of the circle came the Gremory group. Issei, said Riaz, Okeno and Kiba. Issei-san, said Asia. Senpai, said Kaneko. Riaz saw the 3 Fullen. She frowned and created a small ball of destruction. Step aside from my pawn or you will face the consequences, said Riaz. Bowo.let's not get hasty, these 3 are good, said Issei. Issei, you do know that fallen angels are an enemy of devils, right? Asked Riaz. I do, but not all are bad. Just like Asia, these 3 were forced to fight me. I killed the one who fought me by will and wasn't forced. I'm telling you, these 3 are good, said Issei. Riaz lowered her hand and removed the sphere she created. Very well, I will trust you. Just next time, if you get into a fight, please call me via magic circle, said Riaz, giving Issei a worried smile at the end. Sure, but you, said Issei with a smile. He then motioned the 3 Fullen and the Gremory group to follow him home, as it would be much easier for him to explain everything to his parents if they were all there. Scene change. So basically, you saved Asia from being tortured, you got yourself reincarnated as a devil, you went on a date with a girl who was ordered to kill you, managed to break her search control spell, and also the spell of 2 other fallen angels, and killed the one who fought you by will? Asked Mickey. Issei nodded. And it seems like you managed to get yourself a harem, laughed Goru. Everyone went extremely red. Dad, shouted Issei. I only have one girlfriend. All the girls who liked Issei looked at Rainer with killing intent. Rainer just gave an awkward chuckle. Oh? But don't all these girls also like you? Asked Goro. I can tell when a girl likes a guy when I see them smirking at Mickey. All the girls, even Kaneko, were red to a point where they were actually tomatoes or apples or any red object. Issei just face-palmed. Don't listen to them, he said to the girls. The girls nodded, but they were still quite flustered. We definitely want a lot of grandkids, but right now, maybe after you graduate, said Mickey. Steam could be seen coming out of the girls. Kiba was just smiling awkwardly and rubbing the back of his neck while Goro was laughing his head off. Anyways, Mom, can we keep Asia, Rainer, Kalwerner and Middle here? As I told you, they have nowhere to go and they can help with the housework. Asked Issei. I don't see why not. But you better keep good care of them, they will give us our grandkids after all. Said Mickey. The girls couldn't handle it and fainted. Kiba just chuckled. Sigh right, I'll just show them their room. Just, don't tease them any more than you already have. Issei deadpanned. Mickey and Goro chucked. Issei managed to wake up the girls and showed them their rooms. Thank you for your kindness, Issei-kun. Kalwerner bowed. Yes, thank you very much. Middle exclaimed. I will always show kindness to those who deserve it, said Issei. Issei-san, I got into your class thanks to Ria's Onasan. But what about them? Asia pointed at the three fallen. Don't worry Asia, I will arrange for them as well, said Rias. Scene change. Today, we have 2 new students joining your class. Come in you too, exclaimed the class teacher. 2 students came inside the class. One was a long-haired blonde and the other was a violet-eyed black-haired girl. Hello, my name is Asia Argento, I will be in your care from now on, said Asia. Hi, I am Amano Yuma. Please take care of me, said Rainer. In school she will be known as Yuma. They are so pretty. I would totally date both of them. Ugh, now I can never get the hot boys. I wonder what they like. Comments were thrown around the whole class. Everyone was amazed by the beauty of the 2 new girls. The measurements of Yuma are insane. Asia's measurements are on the mild side, but they fit perfectly with her face, said Motohama, pushing back his glasses to get a better look. Oh, I really hope they join the kendo club, new girls to peek at, Mitsuda exclaimed. Issei didn't like those comments about his girlfriend and one of his best friends, but he knew that he couldn't do anything, so he just kept quiet and smiled at both of them. You also have a new teacher joining you all, she will be your new chemistry teacher, said the class teacher. The tall blue-haired and nice-figured lady walked into the class. Hello, I am Callie Warren. I am going to be your new chemistry teacher, she said with a smile. If the commotion caused by Yuma and Asia wasn't enough, this surely was. She is a literal goddess. We have 3 absolutely gorgeous ladies in our class. I am so happy to be alive to witness such a sight. The comments were going haywire. Issei was honestly surprised. He expected some amount of commotion, but this was way more than he expected. Oh lord, if the measurements on Yuma were insane, the measurements of Kali-sensei are absolutely cracked, Motohama exclaimed. Oh no, now I want to peep on senseis as well, Mitsuda commented. Issei only facepalmed at the comments of those 2. Alright now class, let's settle down. You can ask them questions later, your first period is about to begin, said the class teacher. The sisters of Lucifer and Leviathan really do run the school. Partner, you always make stuff interesting, it's like you have a magnet attached to you. That's just me I guess. Scene change. Issei, Asia, Rainer, Middle and Kalwerner, welcome to the Occult Research Club, said Rias. Middle was placed a grade below. Thank you very much, said the 5. As Issei and Asia are already devils, do you 3 also want to be converted to devils? Said Rias. A slightly hopeful expression could be seen on Ria's face. The 3 fell for a while. I think I want to stay as a fallen angel, said Kalwerner. Same here, said Middle. I mean, if Issei wants me to become a devil, said Rainer while looking at Issei. You know that I want you to do whatever you want, said Issei while looking at Rainer lovingly. I knew you would say that, Rainer said while going near Issei. They both kissed for a few seconds. After they broke the kiss, the girls were staring enviously at Rainer. Well it can't be helped, said Rias in a really low tone, so that no one heard her. No one, except Issei, because of his draconic senses. He gave a confused look towards Rias, who was looking down, thinking of something. She quickly looked up and announced something. Anyways, you 5 need not come to the club today after school. You can if you want, but it's not required. You all can join from tomorrow. Everyone nodded at Ria's announcement. Scene change. It was the sports period. The boys and girls were requested to play together as their sports teachers were absent for the day. "So, Kiba, what do you plan on doing?" asked Issei. "Not sure, maybe I'll take a break today," replied Kiba. "Me too," said Issei. Both of them sat down on the bench and we're talking about game strategies. "Yeah, I think that's good. But there is one." Issei was commenting on Kiba's football strategy until he felt something. "Issei-kun?" asked Kiba. "Excalibur," Issei said. Kiba's face went dark instantly. Kiba told Issei earlier about his past. Issei told him that he will get his revenge, but not at the same time as becoming a stray devil. "How many fragments?" Kiba asked. 2, mimic and destruction," Issei said. "Location?" asked Kiba. "And pinpointed exactly, somewhere around the church," said Issei. "Do we alert Butchu?" asked Kiba. "Yes, but not right now. She has something on her mind that is bothering her, better not to give her a bigger headache than she already has. I think we should alert Sona," said Issei. "Right," Kiba replied. Kiba managed to keep himself calm as he knew what Issei said earlier to him was correct. Flashback. It was a basketball competition. Kiba and Issei were the audience. The team named Gifted Strength just won the competition. "Congratulations, you won this competition and gave a great show to the audience. As the team leader, do you want to say anything regarding your team?" the interviewer asked the team leader. "We are, as the team suggests, gifted. We have gathered together in a team after showing our natural strengths and then sharpening them by practicing. The same way King Arthur's blade, Excalibur, chose his knights," the leader said. "Okay, that is totally not how King Arthur chose his knights, right Kiba?" Issei looked at Kiba, whose face went dark upon hearing the name of King Arthur's blade. "Sorry Issei, I just remembered something," Kiba said. His face was still dark. He stood up and started walking away. "Kiba, wait up." Issei started going after Kiba. "Kiba, what's the matter? You know you can tell me anything that is wrong, I am your friend," Issei told Kiba. But alongside Kiba started. There was a project named Project Excalibur. In this project, people were taken away from their homes forcefully to make them strong enough to wield the holy sword, Excalibur. I and my family were some of its victims. We were experimented on, tortured and physically harassed in order to make us perfect wielders. But it didn't work and we were subjected to even more torture. The people who were experimented on became really close, we were like a family. We always had hoped that we would be let out soon or some power would come and save us. But it never happened. Day by day, the torture became worse. The experiments were extremely painful. But we were never able to wield Excalibur for longer than 1 hour. After many years, the people conducting the project decided that it was enough and they discarded the project. Any evidence relating to this project was destroyed, that included the people who were experimented on. I saw them all dying as the killing gas was let out in our cage. They managed to get me out. They told me to go get shelter and run as far away as they can and told me not to worry about them. I could never do that, I could never leave my family behind, but I knew that it had to be done. I ran away as far as I could, but I was also affected by the killing gas. I was almost out of the woods, but then I tripped and I was unable to get up. At that point, I should have given up and accepted my search fate, but I didn't. I couldn't let all those people go without avenging them. That will of mine kept me alive for this long, but it wasn't enough. My vision became hazy and I couldn't see properly. I could only see a figure with crimson red hair standing before me, and she said, "Live for me, Issei Hyoudou. You will get your revenge." That was the last thing I heard or saw before I blacked out. And after I woke up, I was the knight in Ria's Grimory's peerage. I am forever in debt to her, but I also have my own mission to complete. Issei was taking in what Kiba said. Excalibur project. He had heard of this somewhere before. "I understand, Kiba," Issei started. As Kiba turned around and walked away, Issei grabbed his hand. "But I won't let my friend become a stray devil. You would be hunted down in the end for betraying your master. Would your friends and family want you to be hunted after they just gave their lives away for you to not be hunted?" Issei said strongly. Kiba looked down and thought about Issei's words. "No, they would not. And neither do I want you to become a stray devil, Kiba. You are my friend, you are part of Ria's Grimory's peerage," Issei said. Kiba closed his eyes and thought about Issei's words. "I understand Issei, but I could never ask you to join my plan for revenge," said Kiba, understanding what Issei implied by saying the words he did. "I know," he started. "I am not going to ask you to let me join you, as I will be joining you anyways," Issei said, being slightly arrogant. "Issei-kun." But Kiba started, but was caught off by Issei's hug. "I will not let you die, Kiba, remember that," Issei said. He broke away from the hug and Kiba smiled at Issei. "I am glad to call you my friend." Flashback end. "Kiba, are you sure you want to go with me to investigate?" asked Issei. Of course. I would want to see the wielders of that holy sword myself, said Kiba. Very well, we will go after school, after alerting Sona, said Issei. Okay. Agreed Kiba. The rest of the school day went normally, with nothing unusual really happening. At the end of the school day. Knock knock. Come in. Sona was currently in the student council room, revising her notes of some sort of meeting. She was caught off guard by the knock on the door of the room. Who is still in school right now? It's probably Riaz or Akeno, she thought. But I was surprised to see Issei. Issei came to the council room alone, as Kiba had to perform his devil duties. He didn't tell Riaz about the Excalibur fragments yet, as Riaz already had a lot going on. Hi do Issei. What brings you here? Asked Sona. Please call me Issei, I am here to talk to you about some news, said Issei. Well then, Issei, what news do you want to share with me? Asked Sona. Okay, so, first let's get things straight so we are on the same page, Sona Citri, he said, while smirking slightly at the end. Sona's eyes went wide in horror. How did Yoshi started? I know about the supernatural, I am a dragon myself, so you don't have to keep anything from me. I just wanted to inform you about something that I've sensed in the town. I didn't want to trouble Riaz since she already seems to have a lot of things on her plate, said Issei. Wait.did, you say DD dragon? Sona stuttered. Issei knowing about the supernatural just came out of nowhere. She took a moment to compose herself. Issei revealed his dragon wings, which completely shocked Sona. I also know that your queen is watching these events, he said while looking in the direction where Tsubaki was camouflaged. Tsubaki? Sona said. Hi Kaichu. Tsubaki came out of her hiding spot. Shinra Tsubaki. Hi do Issei. Nice to meet you, he said while smiling and extending his arm. And nice to meet you as well, Tsubaki said while extending her arm to shake Issei's arm. She also had a faint blush on her. Wow, you have a strong sacred gear. Anyone wishing to fight you will be in for a treat, said Issei. How did you? Never mind, you seem to know everything anyways, said Sona. Miralis is really strong. You've got yourself a strong queen, Sona, Issei commented, making Tsubaki blush ever so slightly redder. Anyways, Issei, what news did you want to tell me? Asked Sona. Issei stopped smiling and got into a serious face, which was quite intimidating. Both Sona and Tsubaki took a step back after seeing his serious face. I have sensed 2 fragments of Excalibur inside Kuo. Both of them have a wielder. The fragments are destruction and mimic. I and Kiba are going out to investigate this. I am not saying that you should not interfere, but I am just saying that it will be preferred if we do it alone. If anything happens, I will contact you instantly, said Issei. Sona took in the words which Issei said. Very well, we will not intervene, but as you said, immediately contact me or my queen if anything happens, said Sona. Will do. He closed his eyes and took off his serious face, and back came his face with a warm smile which made every girl blush, and Sona and Tsubaki were no exceptions. Well, if that is all, I will be off, he said as he started to walk away. By the way, your new pawn has a lot of potential, he commented as he was walking away, which made both Sona and Tsubaki's jaw drop. After he left. He seems to know everything, no point in keeping anything a secret from him, said Sona. I thought he was different, but this is something not even I was expecting, said Tsubaki. He seems to be really strong as well. I would do well to be on his good side, commented Sona. Are you going to tell your sister about him? Asked Tsubaki. Not yet. You know how overprotective she can get, said Sona. Tsubaki nodded at her king's comment. We need to keep an even larger eye on him, said Tsubaki. Scene change. What? What do you mean you won't come? Issei, you know that these words won't come out of my mouth unless it's really dire. Issei and Kiba were talking through a communication circle. Kiba, you do know that this is Excalibur we are talking about, right? Issei asked. Issei, I already told you, I need to get this pact as this is a really important person. If I don't get this pact, then Butchu will be even more worried. And this job is not a short one. Why don't you take the 3 foreigner Asia? Kiba asked. All of them are on a shopping night with mom, otherwise Rainer and Asia would have stuck to me like magnets to metal, said Issei. Well, I guess you are alone then. I wish I could have been there, I really do, but this is important, said Kiba. It's fine Kiba, I'll see you later, said Issei. They cut the communication circle. Yes, I'm on my own. I mean, I don't think that it'll be much of a problem, but it's still nice to have an ally, Issei said to himself. Partner, even though you are really strong, I would still suggest bringing someone with you, just in case. Albion told Issei. Come on, it's just 2 fragments of Excalibur and 2 wielders. What could possibly go wrong? Drake spoke. I really wonder sometimes how I was host to two completely opposite dragons, not just in terms of abilities, but also in terms of personalities. Issei mentally sighed. He started walking towards the place where he felt the Excalibur fragments from. After a few minutes of walking, Ichi was close to the church. It's close. Issei thought. After walking for a bit, he turned around as he felt the Excalibur fragments moving, and it was towards the forest. Partner, you can't just go and confront those exorcists. That would cause more trouble than good. Albion warned Issei. Or we could just barge in and see where it goes. Much more simpler than whatever is needed to do what Albion wants to do, Drake said. I agree with Albion on this, it's too risky. Said Issei, much to Drake's disappointment. Nice to see that you aren't completely brainwashed by Drake, Albion commented, to which Drake only humphed. Issei let out a bit of his aura to the point where his aura would be that of a low-class devil angel, fallen angel. He did this as if he appeared as a human, the exorcists would have no problem killing him. But if he was a supernatural being, the exorcists would not instantly kill him. He quickly summoned his bike to appear as if he was just taking a ride through the woods. He got on the bike and started pedaling. He felt the Excalibur fragments come closer. He didn't pedal that fast so as to not make much noise. They are really close. He thought. He used his extremely good vision to look into the forest. It was so dark, not even a top-tier high-class devil would be able to see through it easily. The Excalibur fragments were extremely close. He looked around until he saw two figures. They were two girls. One was with two really long pigtails, and one was a brunette with green stripes. He could hear their conversation. Are you sure this is the right place? Said the brunette. I am positive, I used to come here often when I was little. Said the dot. Issei went closer and closer until the two disappeared. He knew that they probably felt him coming closer and were planning to ambush him. He was on guard, but he acted as if he was just cycling normally. Swish. Something came at Issei's bike and broke its wheel. Issei knew it was Excalibur Mimic. He could have easily protected himself, but he pretended to fall down. Ouch. What gives? Who did that? He shouted. Who are you and what is your business? Said the brunette after coming out of the bushes. What do you mean what is my business? I come here on my bike often. I was just cycling until you showed up. Issei retorted. He only said you instead of you two because he could not yet see them. To not make them suspicious, he was just talking to brunette. The brunette just stared at Issei. If you'll excuse me, I'll just get on my bike, and he started. Issei, she suddenly came out of the bush and had a surprised look on her face. Excuse me? Issei said he really didn't recognize the girl. They used a bangle on her right wrist to light up the area. It's been so long, Issei. They said. Do I know you? Asked Issei. It looked like she got her life taken out of her. She fell to her knees and started forming tears in her eyes. You don't remember me? She asked. She was on the brink of completely breaking down. I'm sorry. I would have remembered a girl I met. Issei said. The girl broke. She started crying with her hands on her eyes. Issei was confused. The brunette gave a confused frown to Issei. Issei just shrugged his shoulders and motioned, I don't know. Zenobia. Sob, what did I do to receive such a cruel search of fate? Sob, why doesn't my old best friend remember me? Sob, she started crying even more. Irina, get up, you are making too much of a scene. Said the brunette, now known as Zenobia. Issei's eyes widened. Wait, Irina, should you Irina? You're Irina, he exclaimed. Irina stopped crying, but she was still looking down. You could only recognize me because Zenobia said my name. She said sorrowfully. How would I know that my old childhood best friend, who was a tomboy, turned out to be a beautiful woman? Issei exclaimed. Issei really did think that Irina and even Zenobia were beautiful ladies. Irina blushed at his comment. You never failed to charm women, Issei. She smiled. She dashed towards Issei to hug him tightly, forgetting that she still has Excalibur Mimic on her wrist. Issei could feel the pain, but chose to ignore it. He hugged Irina tightly. He was extremely happy to see his best friend again. Zenobia, who was taking in the events which just transpired, looked at Irina in a confused manner. Did you just execute the best execution plan ever, or did you just forget that Excalibur is still on your hand? Spoke up. Irina's eyes widened. She quickly backed off and looked at Issei's back. His jacket and shirt were completely burned in that spot, and his back was burned and bruised. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Issei, I didn't meant to. Irina was trembling at the thought that she might have killed her best friend. Issei just gave his trademark warm smile. It's fine, I'm just happy to see you again. It wouldn't have even formed a mark at Issei's back, but he forcefully made that part of his body weaker so that Irina and Zenobia don't suspect him to be extremely strong. Irina kept on apologizing to Issei, and Issei kept on saying that it was no big deal. Irina, if you are done apologizing, you should remember that he is a devil, someone who should be executed. Zenobia spoke bluntly. Issei didn't even flinch, but Irina looked at Zenobia with killing intent. I don't care if he is a devil. Knowing him, he did nothing wrong. Irina said in a slightly dark voice. Zenobia flinched after hearing the tone which Irina spoke in. Do you really not care that I'm a devil? You two are probably exorcists considering that you both have Excalibur fragments, and you really don't care that I'm a devil, and you won't execute me? Asked Issei. Irina removed her bangle this time and made it come back to its original sword form and put it on the ground. She then hugged Issei again. Of course not. I could never execute you. I don't care if you are a devil, because at your core, you are still the kind and caring Issei that I knew. I can tell. Irina said with her eyes closed. Issei hugged Irina back. Thank you, Irina. Zenobia just gave a curious expression. Being trained by the church, she could also feel that Issei was not filled with sin. Anyways, Issei, was it? We have come here for a mission and we need to talk to your king. Said Zenobia. Sure. He said, without even thinking. Albion was throwing curses at him, well it seemed like Drake just got a box of popcorn. Really? Just like that? Asked Irina. Of course. I can see you hold no ill intent towards innocent devils, so I have no problem. Just make sure it doesn't trouble my king too much, as she is already pretty troubled right now. Issei said. That won't be a problem. All we are asking is for you devils to not participate in our deeds. Said Zenobia. Oh, well, I guess in that case you don't have to meet my king at all. We weren't planning on doing anything anyways. Issei said. I guess it's for the better. Said Zenobia. Well, Issei, I guess this is goodbye again, Irina said. Don't be silly, we will meet again, I will give you my word. Said Issei with a confident smile. And Miss Zenobia, right. Please take care of Irina. Zenobia blushed slightly at being called Miss, but she quickly composed herself. Will do. But that, after a final hug with Irina, the two went off in their direction. You are going to follow them, right? Asked Drake. Maybe later, but not today. Issei replied. Screw you partner, screw you. Albion said. Issei just chuckled and went off back to his home. Stuff was really getting started now. Thanks for watching this video. Part 2 is over. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe and comment down below and turn on that bell notification. And also check out the playlist that I have created and enjoy. Link is in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.